All right, let's talk Nebraska Cornhuskers football. Look, obviously the regular season did not end the way a lot of you Nebraska fans had really hoped, but I think there's a good opportunity for the future. There's a lot of talent to look at on this team, but to be totally honest, they are missing what's really needed to compete at the highest level of college football. And that, of course, is an elite quarterback. We talk about it all the time on this channel. Big time college football is becoming more and more like the NFL game, which means you need a top quarterback to compete at the highest level. And Coach Matt Rhule has come out with some interesting comments that I think will potentially push the people behind the Nebraska program to allow them to go out and get that big time quarterback. Let's jump right into the report. We'll talk about it on the other side. This is from Outkick. The college football world is waiting for the transfer window to open up December 4th, and it should be another Wild West experience. No position in all of college sports is more coveted than a great quarterback, obviously. A great quarterback can turn around a bad program and elevate a good program to a great program. But like many things in life worth having, scoring one isn't cheap. Rule claimed the floor for a good transfer quarterback is $1 million, and that number can absolutely rise as high as $2 million. Is a transfer quarterback worth $2 million in NIL money? The answer to that question is very simple. The answer is yes, and it's an easy decision to make. Look at what Bo Nix has done for Oregon. Oregon was solid under Mario Cristobal in the years before Nix arrived on campus. However, the team is 21-4 with the former Auburn quarterback under center, and the Ducks are a serious playoff contender. Texas is the best it's been in years thanks to transfer quarterback Quinn Ewers. Paying $1.5 million is a bargain for those kind of results. So I think this is a great decision by Matt Rhule to come out and publicly say this, because I think this is a real problem we see with the kind of old boosters that we're seeing behind Nebraska football right now. They're a little bit behind the times in terms of understanding the transfer portal and the NIL money. They're not completely in the dark ages, but they're not 100% on the forefront of where they need to be. Because right now, it's the reality of it. We understand it. It's college football in 2023. You will not win at a high level without a top flight quarterback. You have to get him however you can to get it done. And the most effective way to do it is to get a quality guy in the transfer portal. And the most effective way to get a quality guy in the transfer portal is to write him a check of NIL money. The way you get that NIL money is you have boosters, big businesses involving Nebraska, and there's a lot of them. Write checks yourselves. They may not want to do that. They may not like that. They may think old school, old mentality, college football, 1990s, will just recruit a bunch of offensive linemen and win national titles. That's not going to work in 2023. I give a lot of credit for Matt Rhule for coming out and saying that explicitly. I think it's a smart decision by him to hopefully light a fire underneath some of these boosters in the athletic department to understand what Nebraska has to do to finally return to the top echelons of college football. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this comment by Rhule and just everything with Nebraska. But first, Nebraska fans, look, like I said in the open, season didn't go quite the way you had probably hoped, but give us your one favorite moment from the 2023 Nebraska Cornhuskers regular season, whatever it is, whether it's a big win, a breakout player, whatever it is, put your favorite moment from last season, this past season, I should say, in the comment section below. But Miles, what do you think of Rhule's comments involving the Nebraska program right here?
I think it's really interesting, and I think, you hit the nail on the head, something we talk about all the time. It's needed. You gotta have a top-tier quarterback, and you gotta shell out the money to get him. I think there is a fine line, though, shelling out buku dollars for a one-year rental guy. I don't know if the Sam Hartman type thing for Notre Dame is the way to go. I like the options they gave here with Bo Nix, Quinn Ewers. I think Rhule does too. He talks about if he gets a guy from the transfer portal, he wants them to have some years left in their playing time. He wants to be able to develop the guy that he gets and someone that can learn and grow with the program. They have to make that immediate impact. They have to be a great quarterback, but he wants someone that can be there for that year, the year to come after that, to give them something to work on the following year. So I think this is a really interesting concept that Rhule has going on, and I think that this is the way to do it. Because you can go and you can recruit a million guys, but in today's NIL, in the transfer portal era, it's easy to see what someone has already put on the field in a college level program. I think that is the way to go. I think it's the best way for this Nebraska program to go. Because I think, despite the injuries, despite the up and down quarterback play of Heinberg and Purdy, I think that this is a team that if they had a good quarterback, this would be a little bit different season. I think you may be sniffing around going bowling if you had a little bit better quarterback this season. So I think that Rhule, the master of turning stuff around, he knows exactly what he's talking about. He's done this a number of times. He knows what he's looking for. And I think that this is a Nebraska team that's on the precipice of doing something great. I think we're going to
And Miles,
see.
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, I think we're about to see him make a really great move here. I think bringing in another quarterback, and this Nebraska team is going to make a big turnaround next year.
And you make a great point, right? When you talk about the fact that Nebraska was good enough to go to a bowl game, even higher. I looked at the defensive stats for the Big Ten. If you look at this past season, the only teams ranked above Nebraska, Penn State going to a big bowl, New Year's Six bowl, most likely, or at least, New Year's Day bowl, maybe it being like the Outback Bowl kind of thing, but still big time bowl for Penn State. Michigan, they're going to the college football playoff. Most likely they're going to beat Iowa. Ohio State, they're going to a New Year's Six bowl. Iowa, they're in the Big Ten championship game. They may go to a New Year's Six bowl as well. And then Nebraska, right? So defensively, they're right there with programs going to the college football playoff, winning 9-10 games, going to Big Ten title games. They're right there defensively. They just don't have the offensive firepower. And we saw it in a lot of games they lost, whether it was Minnesota to start the season, whether it was Iowa to end the season, right? They were right there to win those games. They just did not have the quarterback play and the offensive firepower. And one thing that will really help bring in more recruits at the skill position on offense is a big name, talented quarterback in the transfer portal, right? We say it all the time. One of our favorite sayings on the show, A players want to play with other A players. You bring in a transfer quarterback, all these other transfers at wide receiver, all these other recruits at wide receiver, running back, tight end, they want to play with that A quarterback. It all starts with the quarterback position. Credit to Matt Rhule for recognizing that and going out and making sure that his guys in the athletic department, his guys in the booster program, give him the dollars they need to go out and get it done. Because if they can get a quality quarterback, this Nebraska team, there's no reason they don't just go to a bowl game in 2024. They could be going to a Big Ten title game. In fact, if they have a quality quarterback, I'll make the prediction right now. If they can pull it off, they will go to the Big Ten title game next year. I know the Big Ten is going to look a lot different, but this team's a lot closer to being good than people give them credit for.